Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. There's some funky energy that came in over the weekend, and this one makes me nervous. So I'm just going to drop into the nervousness and see what comes through. So first we're going to go here, and I'm just going to read a couple of passages that I've opened the book at randomly. We learn wisdom from failure, much more than from success. We often discover what we'll do by finding out what we'll not do. And probably he who never made a mistake never made a discovery. And that's by Samuel Smiles. Self-knowledge and self-improvement are very difficult for most people. It usually needs great courage and long struggle. That's Abraham Maslow. I wonder if that's Maslow's hierarchy. So our journey from June comes into July, and we move from nourishment and a higher love into something difficult. And it's where that 8 is taking us. So the 8 seeks balance and harmony in the expansion to bring in more light. And remember, I always say, as we bring in the new light, the new truth, the new revelation, the new wisdom, it's going to hit every layer of shadow as that 8 balances itself to evolve, and to involve. And so we have some deep shadow coming up, and literally the Saturday into Sunday of this weekend was night and day. Really heavy energies coming through in the collective. And a few words that I scribbled down this morning. Is it a fact or is it a feeling? So what's coming into sharp contrast actually is where we're bullshitting ourselves. Is where we're telling ourselves that we're not enough, not doing enough, not giving ourselves enough. And actually, the truth is we are. And we've been doing the work. Or the truth is that that is true. Okay. And so that bullshit bell that came in June is going to amplify throughout July. So July themes, I haven't quite named it yet. It may come out during this reading. The truth is in the lie, and the lie is in the truth. Energy doesn't lie. If you think you're going inward, go further. Okay. But Chrissy, how do I know the lie is in the truth or the truth is in the lie? The energy doesn't lie. So what are you feeling? Go to the feeling. Okay. And so we enter a 7-month spiritual fusion, the mystery, the not knowingness, in a year 8, which is expansion, balance, and harmony. 7 plus 8 equals 15. So we're in a 15-6 month. 15, spiritual alchemy. Do I go forward to the unknown or back to the old, but make up new excuses to cover myself? And my mind goes back to that story I told you a couple of videos ago when this disruptive energy started coming in as I was driving into town, and it was just interruption after interruption. And I called out, what the hell is happening? At the same time as I passed a speed sign that said, thank you, 33. and it's still, you're being realigned. And everything's changed since then and is continuing to change. So there is a massive collective alignment, shift, expansion going on, which seems to have come out of the blue. And it's happening fast. Energy is, 8 is fast energy. It's turbulent. It brings disruption, interruption. It's almost trickster energy. And some questions came up, which you might like to scribble down. How can I connect with you authentically while you cling to your masks and continue to tell lies to yourself and continue to tell lies to me. And so there's going to be this disparity of a disparity in tolerance. Do I make excuses to keep you safe in your illusions? And as we move into August, we're moving into 16 energy. So the tower is coming down, and we can keep pushing mortar into those failing joints. And there's no right or wrong here. There is the experience. So masks are coming off, and the threat of vulnerability is presenting as something shadowy, dark, honest, vulnerable, anger. So we're halfway through an 8-year, finding our balance. And as we strengthen and consolidate that internal balance, we also clean our lens. And as we clean our lens, the illusions that have existed around us in our blind spot come into alarmingly sharp focus. So since solstice, my excuses haven't had enough weight to throw a punch. That's my observation of me. And so as I ring my own bullshit bell, over the weekend, I had another oasis breakthrough, just a beautiful space. I got up very early on Saturday morning, went into town, bought paint. I have craved this color for years. And after I did it and immediately fell in love with the look, I felt sad about why didn't I give this to myself? Why didn't I embrace my Venus and create this? Okay, so this is where those uncomfortable questions are going to start coming in. What stopped me? Well, what stopped me was my brilliant excuses. So my excuses now don't have enough weight to throw a punch. And so is it a fact or a feeling? And one of the visions, I had a really big, long journey this morning at stupid o'clock, none of which I got up to write. But I was shown the trapeze again. And June took us on this trapeze of moving into a higher expression of love and self-nourishment. And July is going to ask us to let go of the trapeze. And if we know where we're going, that's great. If we don't know where we're going, are we going to let go of that trapeze, knowing there is no safety net? Yeah. And there's a really big container matrix showing itself to me. About believing what we're told, believing what we're told. Yeah. Mm. And if we've been told, let's say by religion, by our relationship with our material world, then July is giving us an opportunity to really, really look at that, like with an eagle gaze. Is that fact? Or is that a fiction that I've swallowed whole without questioning? So that will take us into accountability and personal responsibility, and then into courage to move in a different direction that may not sway with the crowd. And that will strengthen our resolve to let go of any need to be liked, validated, approved of, all of that stuff. So we're coming into a sharper expression of sovereignty. Okay, with me so far. And I guess I would ask you, did you notice the distinct shift of energy this weekend? In the UK, I felt it Saturday into Sunday. Sunday was exhaustion and heavy energy. And today it feels like, I don't know what it feels like. It isn't joy. It isn't uplifting. It's the 8 is going down. It's going down. Okay, so I pulled a few cards from the Mystical Shaman deck. And the first card out, there's that gaze, and the owl sees into the dark. The owl can spot the lie in the truth, even the truth in the lie. But does the owl call it? Because what's getting challenged here is where we run interference. Wounded children do this a lot for their parents. They run interference because to grasp the truth that you were not safe as a child is a big step in the healing journey. So the owl seeks the wisdom. And the owl seeks to dissolve the experience, to grab hold of the new blueprint that's going to challenge it, to look even deeper. And the owl may have such a pointed stare that not many can look straight at it. And that thing in you I'm judging is that thing in me I can't quite look at, won't look at. Again, it's all circling back. And I get the words, don't see me like that. So we're going to have some exposing of blind spots. So love. Because when we don't know we're in a blind spot and we're lying our asses off, we're kind of doing it in innocence. So bring love, bring humor. Is that true? Is that a fact or a feeling? That might help, that might assist. And then we have wind, which is bringing in the mind. See, look at these focused gaze, focused gaze. So the wind and the mind might speak to erratic thoughts, might speak to this disruptive energy that's coming in to help dissolve what's out of alignment. So as the 8 seeks alignment, it goes up higher, goes down lower, goes up higher, and it will keep doing this all year. The disruption will release different thought streams. And you may hear yourself in a different way. I get persistence with both of these cards. With the owl and the wind, I get persistence. Catch yourself if you make an excuse to walk away and persist. Bring love, bring humor wherever you can. This is bringing new energy to an old paradigm. And another pointed gaze. How much further would you walk into the unknown knowing this was by your side? And the jaguar speaks to sensory perception. How do I know it's a lie? Your gut knows. Your animal instinct knows. Programming might prevent you from calling it. And we don't have to call it viciously. You know, that's your truth. It isn't my truth. It can be as with grace. And the underlying card is perfect. So we're cleaning those mirrors. And as we clean our own lens, we see others in a sharper, sharper way. Smoky mirror might be the theme of July. I'm not going to do astrology per se, but I am going to go to the Black Moon astrology deck. So I'm curious what we're going to be dissolving in July. I'm curious what the energies are going to be supporting us to let go of, or challenge, or rewire. What's the release? I'm seeing an image of a firing squad. 11:33. Like the bullet. Who told you you can't catch a bullet between your teeth? Hmm? Yeah. I did ask, didn't I? I did ask. After I read these first four cards, I asked myself, I wonder what's going on in that 8th house of entanglement. Transformation is going on in that 8th house of entanglement. Hmm. I'm just noticing the silence that comes in with this. Maybe that's the message, is to go to the silence to get the answers, because your answers are yours. They are strictly pertinent to you and your mapping and your programming and the experience that your soul wishes to have. Silence in the transformation. And all I can see on this card is this. It's like this is a veil of something that's broken, and this clear blue sky peeping through. And it's almost like the Scorpio has got something pinned down. I've never seen that before. It's a mummy. You see it? Oh, and there's Anubis. Okay, okay. This is the death and transformation. I will also mention that Lilith is now in Libra. Underlying energy. So in these two cards, if the question is something like, what are we releasing? What are we supported to let go of? Well, that gives me the need to speak. If there is a need to respond, react, defend, justify, argue, explain yourself, this is guiding silence, feeling. Have a conversation with yourself. And we're transforming. Our entanglement to necessity, entanglement to necessity, entanglement to need. Our entanglement to need. This is a real kind of resilience, self-supporting. Go your own way. Independent thought. Individualism. What else is July supporting us to transform? Got it. Generational curses is what I get. I don't really believe in curses, but generational patterns, let's say, with Pluto. As Pluto just crosses that last degree. And here, here's an open invite, a unilateral open invite. But every time I speak of astrology, feel in. Because sometimes I speak in true sidereal and sometimes I speak in Western. It depends how the energy presents itself. So feel in and organically experience Pluto on your own terms. And what is it feeling like? The card that was behind the smoky mirror is the sun. So, yeah, masculine fire, personal will, divine will coming online. With Aries, the first house of the self. And so individuation is that process of dissolving the ties of ancestry, if you like. I was writing the other day, just personal curiosity, and I was writing about what if we begin to incarnate, or if in future generations we incarnate with no ancestral karma. And that took me to the young people. And the younger generations have so little ancestral karma that I think that's happening. Can you imagine a conversation in your head where your parents aren't even there? Yeah, completely. So we have Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde. Have they both happened? In Pisces, you know, that Neptunian, is that the truth? Is that a fact or a feeling? Well, check it, analyze it. Go into that silent Virgoan perfectionist. Yeah, it's perfecting the light in matter, not in a human perfection. I just want it to be perfect because that's misnomer, but in a way that brings it into alignment and harmony with the soul self. I want to go to these and maybe to these. So what we're moving into is transformation into truth. All the big hitters are here. First house of the self, eighth house of entanglement, Pluto, Virgo, the silence, and Saturn. So once we come into a deeper expression of our truth, what's the wisdom there? What's our learning there? Well, it's learning to express it, actually. It's bringing it into the physical. And so that will be the 1144. And so that will be that's interesting. Underlying card. I'll come to that in a minute. That thought's gone. I can't remember what that thought was. Okay. Spirit of Isis. There are times to surrender and let go, but there are never times to give up. Yeah, and leave something incomplete. Persist. So persistence has already come out. Persist with your bold faith and inspired action. Inspire. Standing under the spire of your own cathedral comes from within until the impossible happens. Isis has the spirit of triumph and will never fail in her quest, no matter how bold or impossible it seems. Let her inspire you. So let boldness inspire you. This is what will engender courage. This is saying use tools, talismans of potency. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention and helping you heal the split between spirit and matter. That doesn't really sit right. Doesn't need healing. It's about learning to be the architect of that seven. It's about learning to bring light in and fuse it into matter. It's about learning to bring light in and fuse it into matter. Okay. Bringing physical matter more deeply into light and life. You're encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way. to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as part of your spiritual practice. Yeah, so if there's something that works for you, whether it's crystals or essences or whatever, this is a good time. It's also a good time to grab your drum if you have a drum or rattle, because that can really, really cleanse the energy field. The one that caught my eye is the underlying card. It is only this physical reality that is bound by time and space. You are a conscious being on levels beyond the physical world. You are guided to work with your healing powers beyond the confines of time and space. So this is speaking to healing the timelines and leaving the old timelines that keep pulling you back. You will not become ungrounded through such spiritual work. You are not leaving your earthly connection behind. You are merely adding to it. Proper burial for freedom. This is the energy that came in a week or so ago when the new timelines started to come in, and they triggered the grief of, well, I could have had that all along. It's that. I could have been that all along. I am that. I have been that. It's that kind of realization. There's nothing to be gained and everything to be lost by trying to hold on to that which no longer serves us. Osiris, Lord of the Dead, guides you now to release that which no longer needs to be a part of your life so that you may be free. I love it when healers use the word release. Oh, okay, then. Meet it, transform it, integrate it. Okay. And so this is the ethereal. And let's leave the rest of the reading open. Guarded, I get the word guarded. Okay. That's coming in with Virgo. And it's coming in with the message that it's okay to be guarded. And that's going to challenge any programming around being open and available and all of that, maybe love light language. It's okay to be guarded. Okay. I'm just tapping into a piece about ownership and responsibility. Right. So these energies that are coming in, be careful not to see them in a them and us kind of way, because that just strengthens division, hierarchy, right, wrong, good, bad, duality. Instead, see them as the balancing of the eight. And so, no, if you're suddenly attracting, and that last week of June, I was attracting turbulence and disturbance from the external world, which was telling me my light just changed. my light changed, and now I'm pulling in this energy. So I can find this energy if it's in me, so I can find that energy, because it's just right, give me the words. Smoky mirror. Smoky mirror, it's not me, it's you. Okay, I pulled this in because I'm responsible for my world. I'm not responsible for you, and your story is not my story. However, if your story makes me feel a kind of way, that feeling is in me. I know that feeling. Have I met that feeling? Do I understand that feeling? Have I got the wisdom from that feeling? Have I transformed it and integrated it? Okay. Okay. Any final messages, please? No, I don't think we need all of those. Well, I made a right mess of that. Immediately what I get with this is empty promises, and all that glitters is not gold. There's something here about attachment to the pinnacle. It's destination addiction. It's oh, dare I go here? When you get there, do you know where there is? And do you know what that's going to feel like? Do you know what that's going to look like? It's that. Or is life about perfecting the experience by being able to fully process in any given moment? Yeah. So with the Ten of Pentacles comes the Ten of Wands. The burdensome fire. It feels like there's pressure in this. And it might be the pressure of alchemical fusion. It might be the pressure, the internal combustive pressure of harnessing fire and mind. And I might ask, what's the narrative about that? One's is about how we express our fire in the world. I'll see if I can get more on that. self-sufficiency. I'm going to get clarifiers on those fire cards because I'm not quite sure what they're trying to tell me. So the Hermit and the Nine of Cups make perfect sense for me. That's that's about how do you meet your emotional needs on your own terms? The nine is about, the Nine of Cups is about that self-resilience. You made it on your own. You're doing it on your own. This literally is the path of the hermit expressed as love. But we've got this fire on the table and I need a clarifier, please. Clarify this one's energy, please. Beautiful. Wow. One of a kind. Mask off. So this really is about how you harness your personal fire. How you meet your personal desires. Did I ask the other day, where is my desire coming from? And this is a diligence. There's a diligence. If the personal fire is coming through any arrogant need to prove anything, then it's going to get harder to hold on to that. It's competing. It's a competing energy. Queen of Wands is just brilliant at doing it all. She can do it all. But what if I ask the Queen of Wands, where's that card gone? What her emotional needs are and how does she master her emotional needs? And this might be the difference between where we're buried in our work to such an extent. Did I talk about busy people the other day? Where we're buried in our work to make coin, that's the old way. But what about your emotional needs? So, what's it going to feel like to be one of a kind? To be your own best friend, your own confidant, to sit in the resplendent glory of yourself, not held back, fully expressed. Do you know what that looks like? Wow. Face value. I get with this, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Oh, this is part of my download this morning. Bring it back. Sorry, can't remember that bit. Right. It's the removal of the projection of need. So if we project our need onto somebody, we can imagine that we see that quality in them. This is where a lot of the first flush of infatuation comes from. It's actually an unmet need that got projected and objectified in the other, and ends up in this illusion that they're everything you want. Well, everything you want lies within you. And so in relationships, some relationships, when the truth starts coming out, it will come out, thank you, in the fact or the feeling. And in the fact or the feeling, when you witness and observe in silence what actually is happening, I'm going to take partnerships because it's a really great concept. What's actually happening, and say that to yourself. I believe them to be this, and actually what's happening is this. And so I believe that. Okay. And it's going to be this swing. There's going to be a swing in here. We'll get it wrong. We'll get it right. Again, go to the gut. When people show you who they are, believe them on your own. So we're walking the path alone to self-discovery. A lot of graduate energy at the moment. Yeah. And, you know, as we graduate through deeper levels of wisdom and knowing, it might start to get hard to actually be in the world. But just know that your outgoing broadcast will pull in that which suits you best. You know, we have soul families coming together. Since about 2017, I think I've really been seeing people being moving themselves around their own chessboard to be with other people who can hold them and meet them where they're at. Thank you. Queen of Wands, in all that passion and that fire, does she experience joy of her own creation? Okay, right. Big shifts for July. And I'm going to wrap it up with a light seer and a something else. Yeah. That's perfect for July. That's perfect. Being led by the intuition that can bridge worlds over what might be choppy seas. Just being led, following your intuition. Even though it might feel like chaos around you, keep going to the intuition. Rest and replenish. Mm. Is really being with yourself, really being with yourself so that you can conjure from within. It's bringing the whole process within. Okay. Final message, please. And I noticed I've had a whole throat clearing during this. Final message, please. Don't seek to grasp. Don't seek to grasp Dharma with your mind. Don't try to understand it. You can know it only when the mind is still. While the endless inner mind chatters are in the way, nothing will be able to cut through the noise echoing inside your head. So come to rest. Come to that lovely Virgoan silence where we perfect the light in matter and come to stillness. It's easier to witness the chaos in the stillness. That's beautiful. Okay, my lovelies, I'm going to leave you there and thank you for being here. And I will see you all again soon. Take care. Happy chaosing.